Namaste. So I'm going to read Book 7, Chapter 13, on the coming of Vishwamitra to Trisanku. Om Vakratuna Mahakaya Surya Kodisa Niraviganam Kodita Sarvakaya Susha Om Ekadantaya Om Gam Ganapataya Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devi Guru Saksha Janamajaya said, O Muni, I see that at the command of the king, the ministers installed Harishchandra on the royal throne. But now Trisanku got rid of his Chandala body. Kindly say, was it that he bathed in the holy waters of the Ganges and lived in the forest, and when he died, he was freed of the curse? Or was it that the Guru Vashishta favored him by his grace and freed him of the curse? O best of rishis, I am extremely eager to hear the life of the king, therefore kindly describe to me in detail his wonderful career. Vyasa said, O king, the king became gladdened in his heart to install his son on the throne and began to pass his days in that forest in the meditation of Bhagavati Bhavani. Thus some time passed when Vishwamitra, the son of Kaushika, completing his course of tapasya with an intent mind, returned to his home to see his wife and sons. When coming back to his house, the intelligent Muni found his sons and other members of the family happy and well conditioned, became very glad, and when his wife came to him for his service and asked her, O fair-eyed one, how did you spend your time in days of famine? There was nothing whatsoever of the stock of rice, etc. in the house. How then did you nourish these boys? Please speak to me, O fair one. I was very busy with my austerities. I could not, therefore, come to you and see my boys. How then, O beloved, and what measures did you resort to for their maintenance? O good and auspicious one, when I heard of the dire famine, I thought then, I have no wealth, so what shall I do if I go there? Thus thinking, I did not come then, O beautiful one. At that time, one day I was very hungry, and being very much tired, I entered into the house of a Chandala, with the object of stealing. On entering the house, I found the Chandala sleeping. Then, being extremely distressed with hunger, I entered into his kitchen, if I could find anything there. When the dishes were sought and turned, and when I was going to take cooked dog's flesh, I immediately fell into the sight of that Chandala. He asked me very affectionately, Who are you? Why have you entered here at this hour of night? Why are you looking after the dishes? Speak what you want. O beautiful one, when the Chandala asked me these questions, I was very much pressed by hunger, and I spoke out my wants in a tremulous voice. O fortunate one, I am an ascetic Brahmin, very much pained by hunger. I have entered your house stealthily, and I am looking out for some eatables from your cooking pots. O intelligent one, I am now your guest in the form of a thief. I am now especially very hungry, so I will now eat your cooked meat. Kindly permit me hearing these words. The Chandala spoke to me in words authorized by the Sastras. O one of the superior Varna, know this to be the house of a Chandala, so never eat that flesh. The human birth is very rare in this world. Then again, to be born a Dvija is more difficult, and to get Brahmanhood again in the Dvijas is exceedingly difficult. Are you not aware of this? They ought never to eat the defiled food who desire to attain to the heavens. owing to karma, the Maharishi Manu has denominated the seventh caste as Antyaja and has discarded them altogether. So, O Brahmin, I am now by my actions turned into a Chandala, and so forsaken by all. There is no doubt in this. I am forbidding you so that this fault of Varna Shankara may not suddenly attack you. Vishwamitra said, O knower of Dharma, what you are speaking is quite true. Though a Chandala, your intelligence is very clear. Here, I now speak to you the subtleties of the Dharma in times of danger. O giver of respect, always and by all means it is advisable to keep up the body of sin, be thereby incurred. One ought to perform prayaschita, penance, for its purification when the time of danger is over. But if one commits sin when the time is not one of danger, one gets degraded. Not so in the time of danger. The man that dies out of hunger goes to hell, no doubt. Therefore, every man seeking for his welfare must satisfy his hunger. Therefore, I intend to steal for preserving my body. O Chandala, see the sin incurred in stealing during famine, which the Pandits have declared, goes to the God of rains until he does not pour forth rain. O beloved, just when I spoke these words, the God of rains began to pour forth rain. O beloved, just when I spoke these words, the God of rains began to pour forth rain, so desired by all, like the coming out of the elephant's trunk. When the clouds thus poured forth rains with the glitterings of the lightnings, I felt very glad and left the house of the Chandala. O beautiful one, now speak out to me. How did you behave in that famine time, so terrible to all the beings? Vyasa said, O king, hearing the above words of the husband, the sweet-speaking lady spoke. Hear how I passed my time in times of famine. O Muni, after you have gone to practice tapasya, the dire famine raged, and my sons, exhausted of hunger, became very anxious for food. I became very anxious to see the sons hungry. I then went out to the forest in quest of wild rice, and I got some fruits. Thus I spent some months by collecting the rice growing wildly in the forest. Then in time these also could not be got, and I became again anxious. The Nibara rice, too, is now not available, and nothing is obtained also by begging. There are no fruits on the trees, and no roots are found under the earth. The sons are crying in agony of hunger. What to do, and where to go? What am I to say now to the hungry boys, O God? O God, thus thinking on various ways, I at last came to this conclusion that I would sell one of my sons to a rich man, and whatever price I can fetch, with that I will preserve the lives of the other sons. O dear, thus thinking I became ready and went out. O fortunate one, then this boy began to cry aloud and became very distressed. Yet I was so shameless that I took the crying boy and got out of my ashrama. At that time, one Rajasi Satyavrata, seeing me very distressed, asked me, O one of good vows, why is this boy weeping? O Muni, I spoke to him. Today I am going to sell this boy. The king's heart became overfilled with pity and spoke to me. Take back to your ashrama this boy. Daily I will supply you with meat for the food of your boys until the Muni returns home. O Muni, the king from that time used to bring with great pity daily the flesh of deer and boar killed by him in the forest, and he used to tie that on his tree. O beloved, thus I could protect my sons in their fearful ocean of crisis. But that king was cursed by Vasishtha only for my sake. One day that king did not get any meat in the forest, so he slaughtered the Kamadhenu, the cow giving all desires of Vasishtha, and the Muni became therefore very angry with him. The high-souled Muni, angry on account of the killing of his cow, called the king by the name of Trisanku and made him a Chandala. O Kausika, the prince turned into a Chandala because he came forward to do good to me. So I am very sorry for his sake. So it is your urgent duty to save the king from his terrible position by any means or by the influence of your powerful tapasya. Vyasa said, O king, hearing these words from his wife, the Muni Kausika consoled her and said, O Lord Desired One, I will free the king of his curse, who saved you at that critical moment. What more than this, that I promise to you that I will remove his sufferings, whether it be by my learning or it be by my tapas. Thus consoling his wife, at that moment Kausika, the knower of the highest reality, began to think how he could destroy the pains and miseries of the king. Thus thinking, the Muni went to the king Trisanku, who was staying at that time very humbly in a village of the Chandalas, in the garb of a Chandala. Seeing the Muni coming, the king was greatly astonished and instantly threw himself before his feet like a piece of stick. Kausika raised the fallen king and consoling him said, O king, you are cursed on my account by the Muni Vashishta. I will therefore fulfill your desires. Now speak what I am to do. The king said, with a view to perform a sacrifice, I prayed to Vashishta that I would perform a sacrifice. Kindly do this for me, O Muni. Do that sacrifice by which I can go to the heavens in this my present body. Vashishta became angry and said, O villain, how can you go and live in the heavens in this your human body? I was very anxious to go to the Swarga heaven. So I again spoke to him, O sinless one, I will then have the excellent sacrifice done by another priest. Hearing this, Vashishta Deva cursed me, saying, Be a Chandala. O Muni, thus I have described to you all about my curse. You are the one quite able to remove now my grievances, distressed in pain and agony. The king informed him and became quiet. Vishwamitra, too, though thought, how could he free him of his curse? Here ends the 13th chapter of the 7th book on the coming of Vishwamitra to Trisanku in the Mahapuranam Srimad Devi Bhagavatam of 18,000 verses by Maharishi Ved Vyasa. Om Jayanti Mangalakali Bhadrakali Kapali Durga Kashmir.